Hello guys and welcome back to Dark Horse FM, and in today's video we're going to be looking at how to set up indirect free kick set pieces in FM22. Currently I'm using Braga, a Portuguese side, and they haven't actually won the league in a while, so I just found it interesting to come to Portugal. And I don't think I've really been to Portugal in Football Manager in a very long time, and then I picked Braga because looking at the league history, the Liga Bwin, that's what they call it now. Wow, it used to be Premier Liga before. But looking at the past winners in Portugal, Braga hasn't won the league in about how many decades? We're going as far back as 1990. I can't even find it. I can't even find the last time Braga won the league. So it looks interesting to actually pick up Braga. They've been second, by the way, and they've been third as well. So in a way, they're the third or fourth best. They are the third or fourth best team in Portugal. So we're going to look at Braga, but for them, we're going to try and set up set pieces the best way possible to try and get the best out of indirect free kick set pieces. So if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe so you can get notifications of videos whenever they come up. I normally make videos like this for teams that are somewhat forgotten or hidden history, lost giants, or hidden teams in Football Manager, basically. So you can subscribe to the channel by Dark Horse FM and also leave a like on the video if you find this video useful. And it's also going to be a patient interactive session with how Braga works and how setting up set pieces for indirect free kicks actually work. And currently you can see that I have a 4-2-3-1 setup, but that's because it is so unimportant what I'm about to do right now. This doesn't play a key role until you have all your players all set up in the game, and then you can know where you're going to move players around. But basically I'm just doing this for default because I need to actually get past this to start creating the tactic. So the first thing then that we do is actually go into looking at the players that we have in the team right now. So looking at the Braga squad, we're going to look at all our players, and then we're going to filter these players with reference to their set piece abilities. So first of all, we're looking for within the team, we're looking for three types of players. We're looking for the crossers, the guys that are actually going to take the free kick, and then we're looking for the headers. These are the top players that are actually going to be in the box when the ball comes in, and they're going to be the ones to take advantage. These are ideally your top players in the team. Then the third players we're going to be looking for, the third group of players we're going to be looking for are the scampers. These are the players that are not that tall but are very intelligent, and they have high anticipation as well, so they can mop up loose balls, and maybe they have some good free kick or crossing ability as well, so they can actually, when the ball comes up, when that second ball comes up, they can actually pick up the ball and then loop it back into the box for a second attempt. So first thing we're going to do is just filter the players according to their attributes, looking at their set piece attribute. So I noticed that it's not here, so we're going to look at the technical attributes as well, and technical attributes is where you will find your set piece routine. So first group, crossers. Looking at the players that actually have, this is the corner routines. Now there's corner and crossing, so you can already see off the bat that Yuri Medeiros, Yuri Jose Picanco Medeiros, he is one of the best free kick takers in this team so far, and he has a partner that's João Novias. These are very good free kicks, so I can already see off the bat who is going to take all my set pieces, including corners as well. But since we're dealing with free kicks, this guy has the ability to hit those free kicks. He has free kick ability of 15 as well, and his crossing is good, so he's our key player to actually keep in mind. The next player we're going to be looking for is the players that have some good height. So looking at the heading, if we filter it by heading, we can see Lucas Mineiro, Raul Silva, and Rolando. These are all tall players, and I'm going to assume that they're central defenders. Nope. Lucas Mineiro is a central midfielder. So in case you realize that when you have a free kick setup, you have to bring only your center backs up front, it's not always the case in Football Manager. You can see that my tallest player here, or the player that has good heading regardless, is 6'2", and he's a good player you want to have in the box. So Lucas Mineiro is a central midfielder, so we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Raul Silva is a what position? Center half, so he's the central defender, so you can actually bring him in. He has good heading and good heading. Where's his jumping reach? I can't find his jumping reach. Oops, that's probably a physical attribute. Rolando as well, 6'2", so all of them 6'2". These are players I'm going to keep in mind when I'm trying to create this set piece setup for the free kick, indirect free kicks. For the scampers, you don't really have to put too much effort into finding them by attributes. The way I allocate the scampers is usually anybody else that isn't the header or the crosser of the ball. So when we're done setting up the team, and then you're going to realize that there are some players that actually have to be in the team, maybe your wing backs, your central defensive midfielder, because I notice CDMs aren't always that tall, unless you're Sergio Busquets and Fabinho, by the way. And then regardless, so once you have those players all set up, once you have your headers and your crossers all set up, every other player that is in the team is ideally a scamper. So we're going to try and look for how we can get the best out of those players. And I might have to do a quick pick here, but let's just see by attributes what we can find for scampers. So looking at the technical attributes still, someone that has good crossing. Let's see, Yuri Medeiros, he's ideally the crosser, so he's not going to be the scamper in any way. The scamper is also likely going to be a striker. So let's just see a player with good finishing as well. Abel Ruiz has 15 finishing, but he's 6'0", so he's also likely going to be a player that's going to head the ball. Scutin, he's on loan, so I might not have to pick him. I might not have to check him. 6'0". Oh, Braga actually have tall players though. Oh my word. What am I filtering? Finishing, yes. Galeno. Oh my neighbors. Oh my neighbors. So I noticed that we have a lot of tall players in the team. Most of them are 6'2", even down to Lucas Piazza, and they're all 6'0". So it's tricky to see how we're going to find one player that's ideally a... Oh, here's a player, 5'9", finishing 10. He has good dribbling as well, and his crossing is quite good. So he's likely to be our wide player in the team. But regardless, we're going to go in for a quick pick so you can see which player plays where, and then we can know from there how, looking at this setup, how everybody is. You can see that everybody's well put in there. Where's Mirio? What's his name? Our corner crosser anyway. Ian Medeiros, he's the player that's likely going to take those corners, and then these are inverted wingers. So we're going to have him in the team because I need him to take those crosses. So back in here, we have Medeiros in the inverted winger on support because he's going to be our corner take, and then we move over to the set pieces. I said corner, right? Indirect set piece, indirect free kicks. So indirect out wide. Now that we have everybody inside the squad, and then it's first of all we're going to have to then pull out all our players just like we did for the set piece routines. That's what I like to do when I'm starting because I need a blank canvas to work with. So it's just ideally to throw everybody back as much as I can, as much as how many players I can get out of the box as possible. That's the first step, that is just to move everybody out till it's possible to have nobody else in the box. Let's say, okay, that's the best that we can go for. So Galeno, he is the jumping, which is bad, but we're looking for Murillo first of all. So he's going to be the corner, the free kick taker, right? So set piece, indirect corners, we're going to look for our, where is his name? Medeiros, Yuri Medeiros. So he's likely our crosser. So once we have him in the team, you can see that he's already taken out and then he's staying back. So he's not part of the discussion really. So both fullbacks are 6'4" and 6'0". So having a player that is 6'4", his jumping reach is showing me acceleration here. So it's just to throw him into the box and then see his heading. So jumping reach is 16, strength is 16, so we're going to want him in there. Ideally, you would want this player to be maybe in the far post as well, in case you want to cross the free kick to the far post, or you want to cross to the near post, or if you have a mixed free kick really, just have him in the box. So you have your first tall player in the box. Now, as usual, I would expect the centre half to be tall, but in this game, I noticed that they have more. In Braga, we actually have more tall players even in midfield, and as opposed to just having them as centre half. So we have another central midfielder here, MCR Ali Al Musrati, 6'4", acceleration. You can see he's showing the attributes for players that are supposed to stay back. He's not ideally the player who wants to stay back, even though in your teams you might have to have a midfielder that is staying back. But for Braga, you can see just having those players that are tall enough to head the ball. So we have our jumping reach, strength in the air as well as 16, heading not that great, but he is 6'4", so he's not expected to jump as high to head the ball, so he's going to be right up there. So you just have him in there, try and cause some commotion. He can get his head on the ball because he is tall enough. The striker as well is 6'0". We're going to keep an eye on him first of all. We might have to plug him in at some point in the game when we know that we're fielding all our 6'2" and 6'4" players. So the next is the central defender, 6'2" as well. Have him here, just go forward as well. So you can then notice that we have more players that are 6'2", 6'2". So indirect free kick out wide, we can have our tallest player attack the far post, and then you create more room for one other tall player to actually get in there. So we have our two centre halves and then the one tall defender as well. 6'0". I'm still going to take this guy out at some point. We have another 6'2" player here, so that's good. We then bring this player in to replace the winger on the left hand side, and then we have all tall players, 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them are 6'2" and above, so that's good because we have area superiority in this indirect free kicks right now. Not a lot of players defending, just 4, and it's probably that I'm going to actually take some of them out as well. So we have 6'2". We're going to look for another player that is 6'4", and then you can perhaps I'm going to leave one player 6'4" in here because we have another player on the far post. So the striker being 6'0", I can drag him into the near post to try and just lurk in this area as well. And then ideally that's basically how you can set it up. Now we notice that we're lacking in defense. You would notice that we're lacking with players that can actually close the gap in case this corner goes south. So that's a problem for us right now. And then looking for players, most of my players are tall players, so I'm hoping that this is a gamble in it being that we should actually score from this set piece because of the tall players that we have. And if you have a team that your players are not that tall, your setup is going to be actually very different. So looking at this player, this is 6'0", he can ideally be in the box as well, and I'm tempted to try and drag him in there. But I know that my AMF is standing with the taker. I'll probably want him elsewhere. So because the taker is going to be the only person, I'm not trying to confuse the opposition. There is only going to be one taker and they will not close him down. So, and then the 6'0", jumping reach, not so great. He's ideally going to stay back as well. So we have three players. We have three players in the team that are staying back, two attacking players that are actually staying back, and then one fullback as well. So that's basically how this set piece has been set up using Braga, and then it has been designed to get the best out of Braga players from indirect set pieces. Now for the corner, for the free kick taker, it's the way I've set the free kick up for indirect free kick. It looks like the taker can actually choose who he wants to play the ball to. He has free kick ability of 15, and his technical ability is actually great. So it's tricky to see Medeiros, what's his other attributes as well. So let's just go into Medeiros and see if he has that brain power to actually pick the right pass and make the right decision on crosses. Decision is 13, composure is 14. So he's a very good midfielder in my opinion. Vision 15 as well. So he's going to see who is playing the ball to. We do not have a problem with Yuri Medeiros. He's the right player that we want in that space at that time. Can I just go back to the set piece now? Where is it? Okay, we're back. So this is how this is not it. Okay, hold on. Yep, I almost lost it there. So this is how the tactic I'm set up for Braga. I'm going to just have to, the next thing we have to do is to copy this. First of all, is to save it anyway. Save the routine as, let's say, Braga, indirect, free kick. Once we've got that all set up, neat. Go on to the left hand side and then copy that routine from routine 1. Load the routine for Braga's indirect free kick, and then you have it on both sides. So that way you have everybody set up. So notice that we haven't actually attached Medeiros to actually be the one crossing this. So you can see that Medeiros is the fullback, is the winger on the right, the inverted winger on the right. So you just pull him into this position. There, you're done. That's just how the set piece has been done, and then it's complete. You can do this for almost any team. Remember, let's just recap how everything goes. You begin with checking your players in the squad, knowing who your crossers are, who your headers are, and then who are your scampers. Like I said, the scampers are ideally those players that once you've set up the set pieces, they are just those players that are additional numbers. They are not players that can actually head the ball. A good scamper, an example, is going to be this guy. 5'9", acceleration is not that good, but he's not staying back. He's just staying back if needed. So he's a scamper. And then there's nobody lurking around the area as well. For other free kick types, deeper free kicks, you might have players lurking around the area to try and mop up those balls. But for now, we're good set up in this way. So guys, that's basically how you set up indirect free kicks in Football Manager 2022. I did it for a random team like Braga, and you can do it for any random team of your choice. You can rewatch the video and then just follow along as we went on to do it, and then look at the players that you have in your squad and where you might want to put your players, where you might want to set your defenders or your midfielders. And also, like we noticed today, when you're looking at your players, it's not ideally that your central halves, your central defenders are the tallest players in your team. Your tallest player in your team that has the good heading and the best heading attribute might be a central midfielder or even an attacking midfielder, and your best free kick taker might not be a central midfielder. He might be a winger or an inverted winger. So you have to keep in mind with all these different attributes of players. So just go over your squad, look at all your players in your squad, and then see where to place the right players in the right roles for set pieces as well. So once you're done, you can save the set piece in one routine and then load it up in the second routine, and then remember to drag the free kick taker that you want into the right position for takers. And when you're going through the matches, when you're going through your season, ideally your squad is going to change. So when you're playing, or just before a match, or even when the match has started, try and get the best out of your players by putting them in those positions that they are best suited for during the match. So you can change your set pieces anytime you want. In game, you can actually do that. And because I noticed that Football Manager is quite dynamic, you would want to always make these subtle changes or checks before going into any game so you can get the best out of your players. Remember guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it and also subscribe to the channel as well. We can go forward making more videos. I'll probably do one for deep free kicks as well. If you need a tactical setup for a team that's your favorite team that is probably not that famous in Football Manager, let me know in the comment section, or if you have any questions regarding this set piece routine as well, you can let me know in the comment section too. And thanks for watching and sticking on for this long. I will catch you guys in the next video.